Imagine stepping on stage and reading the most vulnerable parts of your soul to a crowd of strangers. Every memory, every wound, every moment you thought would break you. That's the life of Andrea Gibson, a spoken word poet whose work has helped thousands find meaning, connection, and even the courage to live. This is the powerful story of Andrea Gibson, a poet, a fighter, a survivor, and a voice that continues to heal people around the world. Born in Calais, Maine in 1975, Andrea Gibson grew up in a conservative small town. Their early life was shaped by silence, emotional silence, societal expectations, and a culture that didn't welcome anything that looked or sounded different. From an early age, Andrea knew they didn't quite fit the mold. Assigned female at birth, they struggled with gender identity, and the box of society tried to put them in. But it would be years before they found the language and the courage to talk about it. They went to college in North Carolina and majored in political science. But something about policy and institutions fell hollow. They weren't drawn to spreadsheets or systems. They were drawn to people, emotions, stories. In 1999, Andrea moved to Boulder, Colorado, and it was there, in the smoky bars and cramped corners of poetry slams, that they found their voice. Spoken word poetry wasn't just art. It was survival. It was therapy. It was rebellion. Andrea began performing publicly, often speaking about gender, queerness, mental health, war, and love. Their words were raw, unapologetic, beautiful, and people listened. Their first major collection, Pole Dancing to Gospel Hymns, released in 2008, tackled everything from LGBTQ identity to political resistance. Their style wasn't just lyrical. It was emotional warfare, with hope tucked inside every verse. Andrea quickly became a beloved figure in the spoken word world. They toured extensively, performing across colleges, theaters, and major poetry festivals. People didn't just watch Andrea. They cried with them. Over the years, they released multiple books and albums, including The Madness Vase, a poetic exploration of trauma and transformation, Lord of the Butterflies, which won the Independent Publishers Award, You Better Be Lightning, a recent collection described as both a eulogy and a celebration. Their most beloved poems include The Nutritionist, a fierce anthem about body image, survival, and mental health. Your Life, often quoted by people struggling with suicidal thoughts. Andrew, a letter about gender and identity that resonates deeply with trans and non-binary audiences. Andrea's performances have always been more than poetry. They're catharsis. They're medicine. In 2022, Andrea shared some deeply personal news. They were diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Instead of retreating from the public, they leaned into vulnerability even more. They documented parts of their journey with raw honesty, bringing their fans into the fear, the uncertainty, the beauty of living despite everything. They wrote and posted, "When I write about hope, I'm not talking about blind optimism. I'm talking about the kind of hope you whisper to yourself when you're not sure you'll make it through the week." Through it all, Andrea continued to tour, to speak, to write. Their audience grew wider, not because they were selling a fantasy, but because they were offering something rare, the truth. Their social media became a digital diary of reflection, inspiration, and survival. Their Instagram is filled with quotes like, "Forgiveness is the needle that knows how to mend. Some people survive by never letting themselves be seen. I survive by being seen all the way through. When your heart breaks, let it break open." Andrea's impact goes beyond poetry. They become an icon in the LGBTQ plus community, an advocate for mental health, a voice for the voiceless, a safe space for people who feel like they don't belong. Their events are not performances. They're communal therapy sessions. People line up to say, "You saved my life. Your poem got me through the hardest year of mine." But Andrea has always deflected to hero worship. They've said, "I don't want people to look up to me. I want them to look into themselves and know they matter." Their voice, sometimes shaking, sometimes roaring, has become a lighthouse in the dark. And for many, Andrea Gibson isn't just a poet. They're a lifeline. As of today, Andrea continues to create, to speak, to survive. Their cancer is being managed. Their poetry is as sharp and luminous as ever. In a world that often rewards perfection, Andrea Gibson offers something more powerful: honesty. So if you've ever felt too broken to go on, too different to be loved, too scared to speak your truth, Andrea Gibson has a poem for you, because their story is proof that even in the darkest moments, you can write your way back to the light. Bellhop Bell subscribe to Random Stories for more emotional, inspiring, and raw true life stories.